Welcome back to the channel. This week we're spending our entire time with this big 2025 Range Rover P530 Autobiography, the long wheelbase, the 7-seater, just the big boy Range Rover. And yes, it does have a V8 underneath the hood. So this is going to be a really cool week. There's a ton of luxury items in this thing. You can see I got a white interior as well. I mean, this thing is absolutely no joke of a vehicle. It is huge in terms of what Range Rover can offer. I've got it in like this matte green, this like really dark matte green. I thought that, the Quebec roads wouldn't make this dirty, but they don't discriminate. You'll still see the dirt on your, almost over or pretty much over 200 grand Range Rover Autobiography. Look at the back of this thing. Looks really cool. I've driven the Sport, I've driven the Defender. I've not driven just like the flagship Range Rover yet. So this is going to be a really cool experience for me. So we're going to take you through it. We're going to go through the entire week. I just love this color. This color is so unique, so cool. I love the finish on it. Yeah, this is going to be really fun. And trust me, the color does not do it justice on camera. It looks near black or like a really off gray on camera. But trust me, in person, standing in front of it, this green is awesome. So let's mount the GoPro up on that massive windshield there, and I'll give you my first impressions. Let's do it. All right, so let's get out onto the road. Let's start driving this massive football field of a Range Rover. It is just huge. Like right now I have the digital rear view mirror on, of course I do. But when I don't have it on and I look out the back of the vehicle, or even if I look at my side view mirrors, it feels kind of like driving a football field. I mean, it is so massive. Everything in here is just leather. I mean, and you can see my steering wheel. I've got like a open wood, like really smooth surface for the steering wheel. It just looks really cool, feels really good. The steering wheel does glide a lot in the hand, so you're definitely not gonna, take this thing on a track and have absolute grip because it's really slippery, but it feels incredible. I mean, you just have to feel one to understand what I'm talking about. Steering wheel's white, so naturally if you got dirty hands or you're a dirty human, this Range Rover is going to expose you. I mean, you're just not hiding from it. But I mean, if you want the lap of luxury and you want to drive in it, this is the vehicle to do it, because this thing is just ridiculously luxurious. It is just top class and high quality to the nines. I mean, I have air suspension. I believe I even have all-wheel drive in here, which means like all my wheels will turn. So like the back wheels turn a little bit too to give you a better turning radius, which, I mean, if you're driving a big football field like this, that's going to be very helpful. I mean, I'm just so expensive, and it seems like, there's quite a few Range Rovers around here in the Quebec area, I'll be honest. It's quite a popular brand. Everybody that sees this car, all the other Range Rover drivers are just looking. The eyeballs are traveling up and down this vehicle. It's a cool feeling. I mean, I absolutely, financial-wise, money-wise, I have absolutely no business being in this vehicle, but because I get to review these vehicles for you guys, for the very few of you, or potentially quite a few of you, who are in the market actually for one of these things, if you are, please tell me what you do, and maybe slide me a $10 would be nice. I could buy a coffee tomorrow. Because I get to do this stuff, because you guys watch, and because, there's some of you out there that have this money, I get to drive this and tell you what it's like to actually live with it and drive it around town and mall crawl with it, because that's what we're going to do this week. I mean, let's go. I've got a V8 in here, so let's put it in dynamic mode. Let's put the shifter in full sport mode. We're going to go full for the first time here. We're going to go a little slowly on the highway here just to kind of get things moving. All right, let's go. Beam. Well, give me that V8. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Okay. Woo-hoo. It moves. This big football field, luxurious football field, absolutely guns. Are you kidding me? Let's do that again. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, that's good. You got to put the transmission into sport. That makes all the difference. Oh, my God. Look at these white seats behind me. Man, oh, man. We are going to try to be respectable drivers this week. We're going to try our best, but it's going to be tough with a V8. But man, what a perfect pairing. The lab of luxury with a V8. I mean, does it get any better? I mean, I don't know. This is just wonderful. What a wonderful experience this is going to be this week. I think my wife is going to want one. I think that's definitely going to happen. Don't know if I want to show it to her, but we will, because it's cool to share these things. But yeah, I want one. I mean, come on, who doesn't? We've got the Meridian sound system. I don't know how many speakers I have in here. I've got them in my headrest, that is for absolute sure, because I can hear the music blaring in my ears when I turn to the left and right. And I feel like a rapper. That's just straight up what it is. It's just really cool. Now, I know Range Rover kind of like orients themselves as, you can kind of go over any terrain. I can take this off-road. I can take this to the track, whatever. I just don't know if you're going to off-road something like this. 200 grand, over 200 grand, probably not going to do that. But for your long road trips, for your daily driving back and forth to your, I don't know, $1 million homes, plural, potentially to your cottage, in God knows where. In space, I guess. This is absolutely wonderful. You're going to have such a nice time. I don't feel the bumps at all. And the Quebec roads are especially disgusting, dirty, and full of holes here right now during the winter. We're in February. And I don't feel them at all. The vehicle completely deletes them. It's like, no, there's a bump in the road? What are you talking about? Absolutely not. You're driving a Range Rover and you don't feel bumps. You don't deal with bumps. You don't wait in line. You don't do any of that. I drive this up right to my private jet. That's it. We're finished. That's what this is. And that's the kind of, the vibe I get. Now I'm going to park it at my house, and the neighbors are going to think that I am a drug dealer. And that's just going to be what it is, because my neighbors don't speak to me. So they just assume, I guess. And that's it. This is awesome. We're going to get up. I'm going to pick it back up later. There is so much to go over. Hopefully this isn't too much of a long video. I'm going to try to get to absolutely everything. But yeah, you're not gonna want to miss this one. You're gonna want to see everything that you can afford. The average person watching this, you can't afford this, and neither can I, because I'm also the average person. I just get to do this because YouTube is a wonderful place to post videos and you guys watch them. So thank you again. Crazy. I'll pick it back up later before I continue to rant. All right, back outside with the massive Range Rover P530 Autobiography. We've actually got a little bit of sun, the rare times in the winter here in Canada that we get sun. So I figure let's do another walk around. It's extremely dirty. I mean, you'll see just how much dirt this paint color accumulates. I mean, you won't see it too much when it's in the dark, but you can see there's like a nice white sheer on the side thanks to all the road salt and garbage that Quebec throws at these roads during the entire winter season. So that's just unfortunate. Your really expensive Range Rover, if you drive it here in Quebec, is always going to be dirty. But I mean, look, the green still shines like crazy in the sun. And again, the camera doesn't do this color justice, not even close. Like you seriously need to see this thing in person, this color, because it's phenomenal. I mean, I'd put this on something like the Jaguar F-Type, and then they don't make it anymore, and whatever Jaguars do, and they're doing, but that would be a really cool car to have this color on, I think. So let's open the trunk, because it's quite an interesting one. You've got, of course, it's automatic. Let me find the button. There we go. So of course it's automatic, no problem there. You can see I've got my baby stroller in here for later, and it doesn't open all the way right away. So you have this part, so if you just need to put groceries or whatever it is in here, you can absolutely do that with no worries. And I can also control the suspension. I can fold all the seats down. I can fold just the third row, the second row. I can do whatever I need to do right from back here. Also gives you kind of a glimpse of our third row here, where they've got cup holders. I'm pretty sure the seats back here are going to be heated as well, even in that third row, which is nuts. I think I can see the buttons right down there actually, which is really cool. But say you need to, have full access. If I'm going to take in or out the stroller, I will need to have full access. But if you don't want stuff to roll around, you can put this guy up too. It's all really, really well laid out here, but this is such a cool configuration. And of course, you got the privacy screen right here if you don't want people to see your stuff. This is just kind of where I'm putting it, where I'm storing it right now. And then when you want to go ahead and actually close it, you can see it's kind of a cool thing. It'll close both simultaneously at the same time. You don't have to worry about anything. So definitely a very cool car. Let's actually see what's going on in the interior, because there's a lot more going on. I'll hop in the front seat. We'll talk about it. So let's hop in here. You can see all the white going on in here. Let me hop in because it's gonna make those beeping noise at me until I do it. The doors are soft closing, so no effort required. So look at this nice door trim. All of the trims in here is real genuine leather, absolutely no problem. Got memory seats. This is how you're gonna control your seat adjustments. I can put the sunshades up and down automatically from my controls here. This little button here, right, I don't know if you can see it because the sun's in the way, but this little button right here is for my entry exit access. So I can just push it and it'll right away lower if you don't have that set up already. Now, once you actually step in, you're going to be greeted with this very nice Range Rover. Depending on how you configure it, there's a ton of ways. You can actually get like an open wood trim. You can see here on the steering wheel, it's really slidey, like it's really not grippy at all, but it feels so cool and it looks really, really cool. But as I was saying in the beginning of the video, if you're a dirty person, you got dirty hands, this steering wheel is going to pick up literally all of it because it is that type of white, right? But it looks really cool. You got the standard kind of Range Rover, Land Rover controls here where you've got your heated steering button and your cruise control setting on the right-hand side. Left-hand side, we're looking at our digital gauge cluster controls as well as volume controls and phone controls, stuff like that over there. Meridian sound system right over here with the vent, and then I can, of course, open the trunk tailgate with that button right there. It's a single button. Of course, the steering wheel adjustment is also going to be automatic, which is very cool. And then you see our gauge cluster right here. There's some different options. You can configure it in different ways. Here we can go display layout right here. And I can have focus, which is what I have now. I can have the map one, which will just use the built-in map for it, which looks really cool. Or I can do dial, which is kind of like the classic one, which I think a lot of people will use. Very nice. Either one is nice. I do prefer the focused one. I kind of like just having the speedo right near me, so that's pretty cool. Display layout again, and we go back to focus, and we can also choose what's on the left and right panel. So I can, so we go right panel info. I can have the map, I can have media and media, I can have the trip summary, and I can just have it empty. But I like to have the navigation. I think that looks cool. I think this looks pretty cool, pretty modern, so I keep it on that. We've also got paddle shifters that are metallic and feel really, really good in the hands. I do really like that as well. Digital rear view mirror, which is nice. You can see we've got another Meridian speaker up there. It's the signature, it's the surround sound. I mean, they're even in my headrest. You can see right here, this headrest can kind of wrap around your head if you need it to, which is very, very nice. Moving over to our digital infotainment display, it's flickering like that because of the refresh rate of the camera. It doesn't actually look like that in real life. You do still kind of need an engineering degree to understand all of it, because now there is no physical buttons for climate control or any of that. So you've got like a bunch of quick access stuff, then all the apps are in here, and this is where you're going to control your climate, your ride height, TR modes, weight sensing, park, you name it, it's in here. We can also control your kind of sport modes and what it does when you put it into dynamic mode. You can see there, it's, I can turn stuff on and off, lap times, G meter, stopwatch. You got it all for the quick stuff that you want to do in your Range Rover. It's obviously got wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto is automatically built in. It's got a crazy camera system, 3D rendering, off-road. You could have towing. You could really just see every single angle of this vehicle, so there's no reason why I should be hitting anything. It's got parking sensors out the waz too. It's just nuts. But they do have like little shortcuts here, so like if you just had your heated seating on, you can click that and it'll turn it on, stuff like that. Of course, the seats are really cool because they're all adjustable, right? So I can adjust it, I can adjust the headrest, I can adjust everything from the headrest, the shoulders, the bolsters, the lumbar, and the cushion. And of course, we have massage functions for both the driver and the passenger. Heated and ventilated, of course, these seats are. But yeah, it takes a little getting used to, but you will get used to it because, you don't have a choice if you own this vehicle. But honestly, you've got so much money, you've got time on your hands if you own one of these things, so that's good. A little bit lower, we have a little bit of storage compartment. We've got a USB-C cable should you need to connect some stuff there. There's a wireless charging pad, a little bit of storage, got like a felt feel to it. And then the gear shift or the gear selector has a really nice feel to it. Start stop button is right there. It's really the only two physical buttons is the parking button and the start stop. That's about it. Make sure you do not leak your fucking identity, you dickhead. Then we've got cup holders right here that can kind of fold away there, and you have a deep center console storage, which is really nice. And of course, yes, we have the fridge function. You can turn it on and keep your drinks cool or whatever it is that you need to be cool. I do have a cool glove compartment storage right here where you've got the top one that's all felt and nice material inside, and of course the standard glove box as well. That's nice material inside as well. And of course we've got the wood trim that goes all the way over. Again, you can customize and change this wood trim however you see fit. Also, check this out. The passenger gets 3 sets of memory seat setting, and of course you do have all the same lumbar support in the seats. The seats are like absolute couches. It feels like a rocking chair. I feel at home here. We've got an extra little armrest for your passengers should they want it. The seat belts as well, you can see they're colored to the same color of the seats. Look at the headlining, it's all leather. You can see the leather stitching right here. It is fantastic. This is quality on quality. There's just nothing like it. Just no other vehicle does this like Range Rover does it. It's to the nines, but of course you're paying a pretty penny for that, which is, you know, something that you're gonna have to do as well. We'll hop in the back maybe a little bit later on in the week, but I really want to get this thing back out on the road because it's a blast to drive as well. All right, so getting back to business, getting back out on the road with the Range Rover P530. This V8, oh boy, I love this V8. I love any V8, you know what? I think that's just the enthusiast in me. But look, this vehicle is as good to be driven in as it is to drive. Like if you're tasked, you know, with driving, you know, your client's Range Rover, because that's the kind of money we're at now when you look at these vehicles, I think. You know, you're tasked with doing that. You're really going to have a great time because, you know, things are very oriented for the driver up here. Things are very streamlined. It's easy to understand and use. Like it's just all good stuff happening in this space. But if you do only want to be driven in, my goodness, you still got the lap of luxury no matter what you choose to do with this Land Rover or with this Range Rover. And I think that's just, again, comes with the territory and the price point that we've actually reached here. So let me put it into, let's go all the way sport mode again, because that's really fun. And we're gonna blast off here. Let's go. Oh yeah, it's so quick. Like it's like a flying football field. Like it's just a behemoth of a vehicle that is absolutely just so quick. Oh my God, it's just like I'm approaching crazy speeds, you know, obviously doing the speed limit, but I'm approaching ridiculous speeds without even trying, and it's just comfort the whole way. Again, I remember when I drove the Range Rover Sport, I remember thinking, you know, it feels like floating above the road. It doesn't even feel like I'm actually driving on any road because the vehicle deletes all the bumps. You know, I don't feel anything. Everything's so smooth, seamless, and easy. It's just an unbelievable experience. Whether you're in the driver's seat, or any of the 6 other seats that this thing has, I mean, you are just in the absolute like hands of Range Rover, and they're just taking you along. Reliability, I have absolutely no idea how this thing would do. I don't even know if Range Rovers like this make it to 100K, but again, we are in that price point where the people that are buying these things are probably not even driving a car that much. They're any vehicle. They're not driving it to 100,000. You know, they're trading it in and getting the latest and greatest way before it even reaches that. I feel like that's the level of wealth that you should be at to come to comfortably afford this thing, because I'd have to refinance my entire home just to afford one of these things. I am in nowhere near this kind of money, but very happy to be driving it. The wood, like I said, the wood is really slippery, but like you can hold on to like right where my hands are right here. I don't know if you can see them on the camera, but like you hold on and it's just a comfortable experience. You know, like I can just rest back in my headrest. I can blast my music. That's one thing that has been really fun. The Meridian surround sound system in here, it's in the headrest, it's all around me, it's underneath the seats. It's just a really phenomenal sound system. It is absolutely worth the money if you're into the sound system stuff. The Range Rover spared no expense with that side of things. Like I am just listening to my music like I'm at the show. I mean, that's literally what it feels like. And it should feel that way. I should have these type of reactions to this vehicle because of how expensive it is. Because I'm essentially driving around a studio apartment or a studio condo on the roads, you know, where it could be easily T-boned at any moment, and then there it goes. You know, that's the thing. So it needs to have like the top end of absolutely everything. Handling wise in sport mode is very good, but honestly you're not taking this thing off-roading. It's way too expensive to risk unless you have like, you know, FU money, that's what we'll say. If you've got that kind of money, you're absolutely probably going to take this thing off-road and not care if you break it. But like, I feel like the people that have a level of wealth that's decent but not crazy will not take this thing off-road. It's just, you know, you'll buy the Defender to do that, you know, which is cool because Range Rover or Land Rover, if you want a true off-road luxury experience, just get the Defender, no problem. Comes with all the off-road stuff you could ever need. This guy's meant for on-road cruising, your long road trips and stuff like that. Not really meant to be sporty, but does have that V8 for those that still want the little kick, and the kick you do get, trust me. So yeah, let me know what you think though. Like I want to know like what you guys think of this interior, the exterior. Like I don't even know. There's a potential that somebody's watching this that's generally interested in buying one of these and they want to know what it's like. You know, if you've got the money, go ahead, treat yourself. Hey, let's do it, because this thing is nice. I mean, sure, you've got higher levels. Of course, you've got Rolls Royce and the Ferrari SUV and stuff like that. But you know what? For a measly 200 grand, when it comes to comparing those vehicles, this thing has got enough to satisfy anybody. So now that I'm off the highway and stuff, I'll just go right into comfort. I've also got auto terrain response. So I guess the vehicle will analyze, you know, what kind of conditions you are. Are you pushing the throttle a lot? It'll give you more power. Are you cruising? It'll probably put you in eco mode if you're, you know, doing a lot of stop start. It's very, very cool to experience. Like all just the easy stuff. It's just, life is just so easy, you know. I don't have to worry about cargo space. I don't have to worry about speed, sound. It's just all here. And also, I hear nothing of the outside world. Absolutely nothing. Of course, if a car honks at me, I'll hear him and promptly honk back. But I don't hear the tires. I don't hear the other cars passing me. I don't really hear it when I go over a big puddle. Like, it's very subtle. It's just me and the road and my music, and that's it. And that is very cool. And that makes the sound system sound even better, because there's just no outside noise coming in at all. It's so well insulated. I mean, there's just not enough good things I can say about it, and which is, again, a very good thing, because if I was sitting here saying, like, this is hard to do, I hate doing this and I hate doing that, and it's worth $200K, that sucks. But it's worth $200K and it does everything so flawlessly. I'm sure there's the argument with the reliability. That's always going to be there. But again, when you got this amount of money, you don't care. You don't care if it lasts you 80,000 kilometers. You're just going to scrap her and get a new one. So I'll leave it there, and I'll pick back up later. Hopefully we can get to the back seat. I already showed you the trunk and stuff like that, so we're almost all the way. We're kind of take a look under the hood later on during the week as well, and we'll try to cover absolutely everything. This is a behemoth of a job to do, but I'm happy to do it. So I'll pick it back up a little bit later. What's up? Let's check out the rear for our Range Rover P530 and get used to this absolute luxury view, because that's all this thing is. Look at the seats here. You can see we got the headrest that kind of bends around the head. All of these are power adjustable. We do have a third row. My baby stroller is in it currently, so I'll include some B-roll of that happening. You can see that, you know, the front seats right here could fold forwards, and then you can access your third row, which is, of course, heated. You name it, we've got it back there in the third row. You should be seeing some B-roll for that. Now, continuing with the first row, we do have a bunch of controls here, but I'm actually going to hop in because it's snowing, and we'll go over them. So, easy to do. You can see we're greeted by a screen right here. Soft closing doors, of course, so I barely have to do anything, and the door will close by itself. So I can adjust all of my support. I've also got 3 memory seat settings here for the passenger. I can turn on the reading lights, I can also close the shade, and I can mute the volume back here. So I can mute my speakers if I don't want to hear what my driver is playing. And you see this button right here. This is for the window controls as much as it is for the shade controls as well. So I can hold this up, and automatically it will go up. Now, that one didn't close, but I can press the button again, and then you'll see there's 2 arrows right here. Pull it up one more time, and check this out. The other one will also go up. That is awesome. So, and of course, if I push it down, they'll simultaneously go down. So if you don't want to see the poor people outside, well, your shades are automatic. You don't really even have to lift a finger to put them up. Now, in front of us, we have this very nice screen that doesn't give us a lot of options to do. We do have a Wi-Fi hotspot, so you can connect an HDMI source, and you will be able to, you know, stream a Fire Stick or even potentially a gaming console back here. And you can, you know, we've also got our own little headphone kit right here that's going to come out. Let's see if I can do this with one hand. Unzip this thing. Yeah, so you've got your own headphones that can connect to the system. and you can enjoy your games or your media, whatever it is, completely without disturbing the entire cabin, which is very cool. And you can also have some navigation. You'll know where we are, which is awesome. Now, I do have my own controls here. Unfortunately, you can't control the climate control from here. That would have been something cool to add, but unfortunately, that's not something we can do. But I do have my dual zone climate control here. It's tri-zone, or potentially, I think the rear is controlled too. But so this is a very nice vent here. It's blowing. I have heated and ventilated seats. I can customize all my stuff. I can also, of course, do it from the front. So the baby seat fits very well. The tie down points are very easy to access. There's not a lot of room for, wiggle room here. So it's very nice and snug in the seat, which I do like a lot. The only thing is I had to move the passenger seat up a little bit more, and I had to make sure that this seat here was back because we do have a little bit less space because of the screen. So you can see it's kind of narrow, but it's not touching the screen at all. I also love how the headliner here is all leather. Even the oh no handles are all leather wrapped. I've got a vent right above my head. I mean, this thing just kind of feels like an airplane. I've got a ton of foot room. I've got chargers, like actual power outlets and chargers here. I've got USB-C ports. I've got it all. You name it, we've got it. I've also got this guy that can come down for us right here. This is where you're going to access your cup holders. And then, of course, this is where you're going to plug in your HDMI stuff, for the power and different things like that. So if you have a PS5, you can plug it in there and then plug the HDMI in here, and you can enjoy your games on this. Well, it's not a big screen, but still, you're playing PS5 in a moving vehicle. That is very cool. So yeah, overall, I love this interior. I mean, what's not to love about a backseat of a Range Rover? It is just one of these cars that is meant to be driven in, and I am absolutely here for it. I think it is fantastic. All right, hopefully you can hear me, but I've got the engine open, filming some B-roll in the absolute freezing cold, so hopefully it doesn't cause me any problems. But you can see we've got the big V8. I like how it's like all nice and neatly packed in. You can see the two intakes with twin turbo, so this thing is definitely big, monstrous. I'll throw up the horsepower and torque numbers on the screen right now in case you want to see. But yeah, it's got a ton of power, over 500 horsepower, which is very good from a vehicle like this. And yeah, it's a V8, very nice. All right. Last time outside with the Range Rover P530 Autobiography. What a cool week it's been. I've got sun again, but of course, I can't keep any vehicle clean in the winter. And hopefully you can hear me because the gusts of winds are up to like 50 and it's minus 24 outside. But yeah, we're gonna walk around one last time, even though it's absolutely freezing. So I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna stay outside for too long today because I don't want frostbite. It's not fun. So nice rear end, nice front end, nice side profile, nice everything. There isn't a single thing on the exterior or interior of this vehicle that feels cheap. Everything is like on point, absolutely perfect. And I'm just a fan of it. I'm just a fan of Range Rover overall. I know reliability can be questionable, but I think, like I've been saying to everybody, I think once you reach this level of wealth, you don't care about reliability that much, because I don't think you're keeping this vehicle that long. And if it does break, you're just gonna go buy a new one. Because if you can afford a car that's 200 grand, you're just gonna go buy a new one. If it breaks, that's what you're gonna do, and that's it. And that's a cool situation to be in, and that's why you don't see too many of these on the road, because they're really expensive. And that's it. So let me hop inside, mount the GoPro up, I'll give you my final driving impressions. Let's do it. So we are finally at the end of the week. I say finally, but unfortunately at the end of the week with the Range Rover P530, which means as of tomorrow, I go back down to planet Earth, and we have kind of a more normal, more everyday kind of driver that I'll be driving around a week. But I'm going to enjoy my last day with my Range Rover P530. I just wish it wasn't so cold. It's currently minus 13, feels like minus 24, but I mean, you could say what you want about Range Rover's reliability, but I'll tell you firsthand, this vehicle started like it was nothing in like cold. It was freezing outside just now. It still is freezing, and it just started like nothing. I've had a bunch of other vehicles start in these kind of conditions and just absolutely hate it, or some of them have even like hesitated to start. Like it was a long crank before it actually fired up. This V8 here fired right up and was ready to go. So that's really good news, at least so far. I mean, I do only have about 4,000 kilometers total on this thing, so it's to be expected. It should be doing that. But, you know, I've had some engines that absolutely hate the cold a lot more than this one seems to, so it's really good news. But overall, living with this thing for an entire week has just been simple and easy and extremely luxurious. I mean, obviously you drive around with an ego because you're 9 times out of 10 the most expensive vehicle on any road. You know, if you stop at a red light, there's 10 vehicles, I'm probably the most expensive one. So you just get an ego from that, and you're like, well, look at me. I'm in my nice Range Rover. I'm going to fake it this week because I've absolutely not made it yet. But you know what? It just kind of gives you that. It's cool. The ride quality is really, really good. Like, you just float over bumps. You don't feel them at all. The handling's good. And if you do want that sporty feeling, you've got the V8 underneath you or in front of you, and you are absolutely going to be able to fly around should you want to. But you're not going to. I mean, you really, like, if I own this thing, I love that I have the V8 noise. I have kind of that V8 rumble when I'm idling. I love that, but I'm not going to be driving around in, like, dynamic mode all the time. Like, you know, maybe in the summer I might do it a bit more, but especially in the winter, we're just cruising along, getting to our destination, because 9 times out of 10, especially this winter, it's been some type of weather. I mean, now the sun's out and we're lucky. We got a break a little bit, but we're going to go right back into it as of like Tuesday. I think we're getting more snow here in Canada. So look, it is what it is. The winter sucks. It's been a rough winter, but if you own one of these Range Rover P530s, you're going to be absolutely delighted with the experience that you've got. You can drive this in anything, like literally anything. And that's cool. You're not going to take it off-roading, or at least unless you've reached a level of wealth that's absolutely nuts. You're not taking this thing off-roading. But yeah, it's just been easy. It's been easy to mall crawl, road trip, whatever you want to do with it, it's going to be able to do it. And that is the beauty of a Range Rover, and that is why you spend $200,000. I mean, I hope so, right? Because if you're spending $200,000 on anything, it better be top level. And I can tell you that the Range Rover P530 is absolutely top level. It is the pinnacle, or as far as I'm concerned, of the mix of luxury and performance. Doesn't get any better. This is the one. This is the top end of everything. So with that being said, let me know what you think of the Range Rover P530. As always, I'm super curious to hear your thoughts on all of it. I think it's awesome. I really like it, but I want to know what you think. If you're considering it, why? And if you're not considering it, why not? With that being said, make sure you like, subscribe for more videos just like this one. I'll see you in the next week. See you in the next car. Take care.